Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome back to Steins Gate Zero. I think we had Suzuha here. In fact, it says it at the bottom of the screen, but this is going back to Suzuha, which this will be the first time we've really seen her in the story so far. Amane Suzuha was about to run out of patience. The cause of the young man was the young man in the room with her father. Itaru Hashira, aka Daru. His massively obese body was leaning forward over a computer monitor, and he had a dopey grin on his face. He'd finally gotten up at around 11 a.m., gulped down 3 cups of instant ramen, and was now surfing the internet. Oh?
なんですとリア充メッセピーとパルテノン氏って夫婦だったん？何それ聞いてねえし。
I'm sure this is going to be very enlightening and we'll all be glad I looked at this. Pt.1, female freelance illustrator. She primarily does illustrations for not Nico videos and Vocalo songs, and is mostly popular with young women. Normals Must IP, the Institute of Physical and Chemical Research. Founded in 1917, it's Japan's only general natural sciences institute. Research at Riken covers a variety of fields like physics, engineering, chemistry, computational science, biology, and medicine. Its base is located in Waco City, Saitama. There are also other labs in Hyogo, Kanagawa, and other locations in Japan. Riken also has research centers in America, England, and other countries. Is that what Normals Must Die is? I remember reading this description. Is that not the description for Riken? And not Normals Must Die P? Hold on a second. This is very strange. Yeah. That text is almost exactly the same. It changes down here a little bit, but I think that's wrong. Because that doesn't sound right. It sounds like 2 people.
リア充メッセとか名乗ってる本人がリア充じゃん。リアルに嫁いるとか汚すぎる。ぐぬぬぬぬ。ぼっちの味方だと思ってたのに。こんなん戦争だろ。炎上必至だろ。と思ったら、もうアットちゃんもツイポも炎上してた件について。
Twitter. That sounds like what my father would call Twitter. You're on the Tweeter, son? The name of a micro-blogging software app allows for tweets, up to 140 characters in length. Tweets from other users you follow can be viewed in a timeline, allowing for it to be used as a chat program. Are you on that Tweeter again?
僕としたことが出遅れた。これまでの流れをちゃんとチェックしないと。
父さん。
はい。
Your art is very strange. I'm not used to it. That's what Suzuha called her father. It's who he was, after all, so there is nothing else to call him. Suzuha was a time traveler from the year 2036, and 7 years from now, he would become her father.
いい加減にしなよ。一日中ゴロゴロして食べるかネットを見るかゲームをしてるかばっかり。即席麺やお菓子ばかり食べてると体に病変を生じるって警告しても治そうともしない。
In fact, his PC desk was covered with snacks. She cleaned it regularly, but it never seemed to make a difference.
運動だってしろって言ってるのに全然しない。
Suzuha realized she was complaining more than usual, but she had to say it anyway.
そんなんじゃ将来。
And then she realized that Itaru wasn't even listening to her. His eyes were fixed on the computer monitor. He moved his mouse out of sight, but she could still hear him clicking it.
話を聞きなさい。
Suzuha approached her father from behind and put the hairspray can she'd been hiding up to his neck. Not the hairspray! Itaru seemed to think it was a gun. He stuck his hands up. Threats like this worked. They worked because she told him that she'd survived the Third World War and the wars and chaos of 2036, and that she was ready to draw a gun and pull the trigger whenever she needed to.
すずは、やめてくんないと父さん怒っちゃう。
怒られるのは父さんの方。
はい、すみません。でもさ、僕の秘密の仕事知ってるっしょ？あれが結構忙しいんだよ。僕ぐらいのハッカーになると引く手あまたでさ、食事も適当に済まさざるを得ないっつうか。海外のクライアント相手だと時差もあって昼夜逆転しちゃうっつうか。
未来の父さんもそんなことばっかり言って母さんに叱られてた。100歩譲って睡眠周期は仕方ないとしても、これ以上健康を損ねるような食事は許容範囲外。即刻中止すること。いい？
だけど仕事もそうだけどタイムマシンの研究が大変なんだ。癒しが欲しいんだよね僕。
そうやって言い訳してすぐだらけようとする。甘えてるよ父さん。
Suzuha was always amazed that her dad managed to survive the future's wars. But since the time machine research would affect the future, and eventually Suzuha's very presence here, she couldn't tell him to stop. Even after Okabe Rintaro stopped coming to the Future Gadget Lab, Itaru had kept working on the time machine all by himself. Suzuha never said a word about it. If she did, it might create a time paradox.
タイムマシンを作るのに未来から来たタイムマシンを精査しちゃダメだからね。
She decided to warn him again.
分かってるよそんなこと。でも時々自信なくなるんだよね僕。
当然だよ。しっかりして。
はい。
Suzuha took the hairspray can off his neck.
てっきり銃だと思ったらなんというはったり。父さんを騙すなんてひどいよ。
次は本物使うからね。
それマジ勘弁。
Suzuha put the can of hairspray back on the shelf. It was something Okabe Rintaro had left here when he lived in the lab. It was still here since its owner never came back for it. Did Daru's voice always sound like that? It's a little strange. I'm listening to it here and I'm just thinking... I get that he was changing the voice a little bit for when he had a gun, or what he thought was a gun, to his neck. But his voice still sounds kind of weird. I don't know.
漫画とかゲームだとさ、父親を叱る娘ってのはもっとこう燃えるんだけどな。すずは、ちょっとさ、もうダメだよパパって言ってみてくんない？できれば甘やかすような口調で。
I don't know, maybe I've just been watching the dub too much. Although I haven't seen it in like a year or two.
なんでもないでござる。
Her dad shrank from Suzuha's glare. Suzuha sighed loudly and dropped herself on the sofa. She leaned back against the headrest and stared at the ceiling, then closed her eyes.
どうしたん？隠しても無駄なのだぜ。鈴葉の何でもないってのは話を聞いてほしいって意味っしょ。 ほら、話してみるといいよ。
Daru sounded very serious. Suzaha's eyes went wide for a moment, but then she realized.
そのセリフ、この前プレイしてたギャルゲーにあったよね。それでフラグが成立するんだっけ？
Oh boy, if you don't know what flags are, you're about to learn. Computer game lingo, type of foreshadowing that means a common trope is about to occur. For example, an XXXX flag means that something in the future, XXXX, will happen. Death flags and love flags are common examples. Now you know. She'd been living here for about 3 months. She was starting to learn a little about Akihabara's culture, circa 2010.
父さん、間違っても私を落とそうとか思わないでよね。
ねえよ、実の娘にそんなことしないって。
本当かな？未来の父さんはちょっと怪しかった。
Pretty sure that would create a time paradox.
私が思春期になってからもよく一緒にお風呂入ろうって誘われたな。
何それ怖い。
私は軍属だったし、父さんはタイムマシンの開発に追われてたからいつも一緒にいられるわけじゃなかったけど、とに
Her dad looked honestly depressed, and she realized that she'd gone too far.
父さんはさ、いつもここは最低最悪の世界線だけど、私が誕生したことだけは最高だって。私、未来の父さんを失望させたくないんだ。だから、絶対にオカリンおじさんを説得しなきゃ。
大丈夫。失望したりしないって、絶対に。
そうかな。
うん。
けどね、おじさんはどうしても話を聞いてくれないよ。このままじゃおじさんは過去へ行かない。マキセ・クリスを救出しない。シュタインズゲートにも到達しない。
Steins Gate. That was the name of the mysterious world line her dad had told her about in 2036, where World War III might not occur. Leading Okabe Rintro to that world line was her mission. But right now it wasn't going well. Suzaha had come to 2010, and just like the mission had called for, she succeeded in sending Okabe Rintro to July 28th. But then he'd failed, and he wasn't going to try again. Every time they met, she'd try to convince him, but who knew if her words were having any effect?
結局、第三次世界大戦に世界線は収束して、大勢の人たちが殺戮される。それを変えるために私は来たのに、何もできない運命なのかな。
Suzaha had something else she had to do here in Akihabara in December 2010, besides convincing Okabe Rintaro, and it meant she was running around every day. The exhaustion was starting to take its toll on her. During the war, she'd been able to keep herself sharp at all times, and this level of exhaustion wouldn't have been anything. The relaxed atmosphere of 2010 was actually making her realize how tired she was. She was feeling very sleepy right now, actually. She was surprised at how willing she was to fall asleep in such an undefended position. But she didn't think she could beat the temptation. And then suddenly she felt something extremely cold on the back of her neck. She snapped awake in an instant. Her movements after that were lightning quick. She jumped up and slid behind the massive body in front of her, which obviously belonged to Itaru, then grabbed his arm and twisted it as she dropped him to the floor. She went to draw the gun at her hip and her hand swiped through empty air. And then she came back to reality. Her gun was hidden. She wasn't carrying it. This wasn't 2036.
いてててててて
2 cans of Dr. P clattered to the floor. That must have been what he'd put on her neck.
何するの父さん。
さっきのお返しだお。
ぼーっとしてたから危うく殺しちゃうとこだったよ。そういう訓練受けてきたんだからシャレじゃ済まないんだって。
わかったから話してくだされ。言いたいでござるの巻。
まったくもう。
Suzuha let her father go. Itaru rubbed his arm and stood up, then grabbed the cans of Dr. P off the floor. He offered one to Suzuha.
つうかさ、諦めんの早すぎだろ。もうちょっと頑張ってみるのだぜ。多分オカリンは疲れて眠ってるだけだから、今みたいに冷たい毒ペでも首筋に当ててやれば飛び起きるんじゃね。なんせほら、あのオカリンだし。
She realized her dad was trying to cheer her up and nodded. Then she heard footsteps coming up the stairs, and some slightly off-key humming. Their eyes met. Just the sound was enough to tell them who it was.
隠れろ、鈴葉。
オキドキ。
Suzuha moved fast. Maybe even faster than when she'd knocked her father to the ground. She quickly and silently jumped behind the curtain that separated the lab's development room from the rest of it. Just as she hid beneath the desk, there was a knock at the door. Suzuha knew that voice, of course. It was her mom. Really? She could tell from the noises he was making that her dad was panicking. There was another knock.
Hi, 今出る。
Itaru went to open the door. Suzuha took a deep breath and concentrated her mind. She remembered the time she spent 3 days and 3 nights on a battlefield with no food and nothing to drink, constantly aiming her rifle at the target. She erased any trace of her presence that could give her away. Her breathing started to become shallow. Dad, don't screw this up, okay?
天音、今日はまゆしと待ち合
Oh,
わせ。
so that's her mom? Is that why she's an important character? I do remember from the, it was the, I think, 25th episode of Steins Gate. It was kind of like an OVA-ish thing. That you very briefly met Suzuha's mother. Though she was just more of like a cameo kind of deal than anything else, really. But I don't remember her standing out. She just looked somewhat like Suzuha. Itaru came back into the room with a girl.
はい、お料理の特訓をすることになっているんですけど。
She could hear plastic bags rustling. She must have brought the ingredients.
まゆし、来てないんだよね。
そうですか。ちょっと来るの早かったかな。
Yuki Amane. Just as the name Amane suggested, she was Suzuha's mother in the future. In other words, the two of them in the other room were supposed to get married.
まあ、約束があるなら、そのうち来るんじゃないかな。
待っていてもいいですか？
もちろん。ここで料理もするんでしょ。
はい、橋田さんもぜひ味見してくださいね。
まゆしのはあんまり食べたくないよ。
大 大丈夫ですよ。まゆりちゃんすごく上達してるんですから。
へえ。
Itaru was clearly nervous. As far as Suzuha knew, the only girl he acted that way around was Yuki Amane. Suzuha and Mayuri were practically family, and he got along fine with big sis Rumi, Ferris Nyanyan, who worked at the maid cafe next door. So it wasn't that he didn't know how to act around girls. But for some reason, he always acted differently when she was around. She told him that Yuki would be his wife someday. It was too late to do anything about it now, but maybe that was a mistake, she thought.
今日は妹さんはお留守ですか？
え、あ、うん。
そうですか。
Itaru Hashida's sister was none other than Suzuha herself. Around the same time Suzuha had started spending all her time in the lab, Yuki had become friends with Mayuri and Itaru and began visiting more frequently, which meant that avoiding her was almost impossible, and so he was forced to tell Yuki that she was Itaru's little sister. But still, she wanted to keep contact to a minimum in order to keep Yuki from finding out somehow. That was why she was hiding.
そうそう。どうですこの服。この前買ったんですけど。
Yuki showed no signs of noticing Suzuha. She was twirling around in the middle of the room as if she was at a fashion show. Yuki was a cosplayer and wanted as many people as possible to see her dressed up. Mayuri had told Suzuha that once before. In fact, Yuki and Mayuri spent a lot of time complimenting each other's outfits.
うん、いいよ。すごくいい。
本当ですか？
うわー、天使来たこれって感じ。
ありがとうございます。橋田さんもおしゃれしましょうよ。ちょっとだけ痩せれば結構素敵だと思うな。
はははは。
私本気ですよ。
おう。
Hashida Itaru and Yuki Amane. As she listened to their awkward conversation, Suzuha remembered the last time she'd said goodbye to her dad.